We're beginning with the word V'hinei ba'ahavo on Samach Beis Amar Aleph, 5 lines from the top of the page. So the way I would like to propose it to you, and again, this is only my Havon, I don't know if it's true. Mem Beis and the first page of Mem Gimel is Yira. The rest of Mem Gimel and Mem Daled is Ahava. Mem Aleph is neither Yira nor Ahava. It's Eved and Ben. Eved is less than Yira but more Atzmiyazdik, and Ben is more than Ahava and it's also Atzmiyazdik. Eved is Avedas of it bittel to the Eibishter, and Ben means, as you'll see soon, that you love the Eibishter more than you love yourself. So again, I don't know if I'm correct, but at this moment, this is my understanding. Mem Aleph says the first thing is Avedas of it. It becomes before everything, and yet it's the deepest in you. The last thing is Avedas Ben. It comes after everything. It's the highest in you. And the Alter Rebbe proposes, Alpha Pekin, you should do it. But there's a connection between what says in Mem Aleph and what says Mem Beis, Mem Gimel, and Mem Dal. I'll tell you what it is. The Avodas Eved, which is Mem Aleph, manifests in Yira. We say a klal. Every Yira has at its core Eved. Chachafil, the Alter Rebbe says himself, Vein shtei mitzvahs, b'minyan mitzvahs aseh. And nun zayin Amar Aleph. Shtei mitzvahs min tayag. Yira and Avodah. Nevertheless, the Alter Rebbe argues that every Yira has at its core Avodas of it, which explains the Gemara in Lagabi Meisha Milsa Zutra Sehi, because specifically Yira has this Atzmiyazdik quality, and that's the Moshe Shabakal Echadech. But Ahava, we don't say that. In other words, you don't say that in every Ahava you have Avodas Ben. We say that in every Yira you have Avodas Ovid. But the second half of Mem Aleph, which talk about Avodas Ben, which is higher, which is higher than everything, we don't say that in every Ahava. So there's a difference between Ahava and Yira. In Yira there are many Madreges, but there's a constant, that's Avodas Ovid. In Ahava there's many Madreges, there is no constant. The tak is separate. In other words, ultimately there's more Metzias in Ahavas Hashem than Yiras Hashem. Yiras Hashem means I'm not. Ahavas Hashem means I am. Now, Avodas Ben is an Ahava, which also means I'm not. But it's not every Ahava that has that quality, just some Ahavas. You follow? So the constant in Ahava, in other words, the Alter Rebbe says, let's give you a rule that applies to all Ahavas, is going to be his bonus. Every Ahava comes from his bonus. Some Ahavas that come from his bonus, the his bonus creates the Ahava because it's Ahava of Matthias. Some Ahavas, the his bonus is going to reveal the fact that you're a Ben Lashem. Your Atzmi is the Ke'inyan. But you're never going to say that there's something which weaves through all the Ahavas and makes them one, because in Ahava it isn't true. You understand my introduction? So what's going to follow now is Kama Madreges of Ahava. The tzada shava shabahem, the constant in all of them is going to be that in order to reveal Ahava, this is bonus. Some of these Ahavas, the hisbonus is creating the midah shabalev. Some of these Ahavas, the hisbonus is revealing the teva atzmi of the nefesh. For example, the madrega of Ben, but it's not true. It's not the same in all of them. Without any further ado, let's get to Ahava. Ahava also has 2 levels. An infinite love and a love that's connected to the world. The infinite love, it's really a love that's connected to pleasure, which we had Sof Pedic Mem. Where the Alter Rebbe said that when a person experiences Av and a love of Tainug, it's not a wing that's Par Chaliyela, it's a tachlis, it's an end. Av Tanugim, where I'm experiencing the pleasure of Atzma Ein Sof because I have an infinite love for the Eibishter. And this perhaps is like Ben, perhaps, I'm not sure, but let's say. But we shall have it's a flame which is going up by itself. In other words, when a person has Abba Tanugim, it's not hard, it's easy, it's automatic, and it's rich. But there's a couple of stipulations. Number 1, you can't get it yourself. Ava Rabba, Ava Tanugim, the love of delight, the love of experience, Atmas and Safas, the Matana from the Eibishter, that he decides whom to give it to. And number 2, he only decides to give it to which group of people? L'mishu shalom b'yirim. If you're perfect in Yirim. Keneida on Maimer Hazal. Like Hasidus explains on the Maimer Hazal. The darke shel ish lachazer achar isha. It's the nature of a man, which is ahava, to follow after a woman, which is yira. Sha'ava nikras ish. Love is a man. V'zochar and masculine. K'moishikosav zochar chaste. Zochar means he remembers, but you read it zochar. Masculine is connected to ahava, chesed. V'isha yira savaya. Isha is called fear of the Eibishter, keneda. U'buliktim as ha'yira. If you don't have full and complete yira and bittul to the Eibishter, yef shalagi al ava rabba. It's impossible to reach ava rabba. Because this Ava is Atzilus, which is the Madrega of Merkava, which the Alter Rebbe called the Madrega of Tzadikim Gedolim, not Stam Tzadikim, Tzadikim Gedolim. Or this Madrega, the lays Taman, there is no possibility for Atzilus, in Atzilus, for Kitzutz, Upiro, to being cut off, or being separated, Chas v'Sholom, stop. So now, I don't know, Moirav Rabbi Isai, if this Madrega of Ava Rabba, which is Al Betanugim, is the same as Ben, that we had in my mouth. I don't know. But I know that it's in the same category. It's an inyan atzmi. I can't create it. Hashem has to give it to me. It's do manishram. And you only get it after you've perfected the lower madregas. You perfect yiratata, avaselom, till you reach avarabba, which is the madrega of avatanugim. It's a matana from the Eibishter. It's connected to his bonus indirectly. Because sof it's a matana. The avodah that you do to prepare for it is setting the stage. In the final analysis, Avatanugim from the Eibishter. So, leave Avatanugim alone. The Alter Rebbe discusses it first, even though it's the last Madrega. And again, we'll debate whether Avatanugim is the same thing as Avas Ben. I will say to you that Avas Ben is even higher than Avatanugim. When we get back to Avas Ben, we'll talk about it some more. But it's not a typical Ava, and it's certainly not an Ava which we create only through our Hizbonus. Maybe our Hizbonus helps, but it's a matana from the Eibishter. And by the way, this Ava is also going to be discussed in the Alter Rebbe's Akdamah Tishari Yichud Ve'emunah, Mitzvah. But now let's get to Ava Selem. Ava Selem, a love of the Eibishter which has to do with Olam, with the world. Which is really a substitute for, you know what? Ava Sani, that's what it's a substitute for. Why do I love God? Because I love me. And because I love me, I love God because God's a good idea for me. Pavos. Well, depends how holy I am. If my grub yun, God's a good idea for me because I like pizza. He makes all pizzas. It's Perish HaPasuk. Call our pizzas b'dei shamayim. Okay, to my Chazal. Or maybe I love the Eibishter because I died to the nafshe. I want to be a better person. I want to be a higher person. The highest thing I could be is connected to the Eibishter. So I desire and I love the Eibishter because it's rewarding to me spiritually. That's also about me. I love the Torah because it's closer to the Eibishter. So it's a much edeler madrege, but it involves me. It's not for God alone. It says the Rebbe Abba, it comes me'atvuna from the understanding, with us, and the knowledge, with all Savaya and Sei Baruch. In the greatness of Hashem who is Ein Sof. Because I acknowledge I'm a Malak Kalam and He fills up all the worlds. The Save of Kalam and He encompasses all the worlds. And in a higher level, the whole world is nothing. These are three different Hizbonus. Hizbonus of Malak Kalam is Hizbonus of Kuchayacha. Hizbonus of Save of Kalam is that the whole world is insignificant. Hizbonus of Kuchayacha is that Tzimtzum Shleikim Shidda does the Chalal not a Welt. The Hizbonus is going to affect the Eichos of the Ava. From Hizbonus and Malak Kalam and have a lower Ava, but it's more realistic. Hizbonus and Save of Kalam will have a higher Ava, but it's less realistic. Hizbonus and Kulak Meklach Shiv will have this Ava which is even higher, but this Lav Dafka I could mean it mitanemes. So, but the point is the Ava Salem comes through Hizbonus. And when a person is holding by the Madrega of Kulak Meklach Shiv, it's called Bittel Davar Echad B'Nefesh HaMaskelas. The Madrega of Kulak Meklach Shiv indicates like the nothingness of one word, the way it exists in a person's mind. Before you thought it, and before you spoke it, as we discussed earlier in Perek Chaf and Chaf Aleph, this is called Tzimtzum Shalei Kepshutei. Tzimtzum Shalei Kepshutei means you look at the world, you said the word is only God. It's a very high Madrega of Hizbonus. Ashaydei Hizbonus, when you have this Hizbonus, either of Mamalak Kalaman, or of Save of Kalaman, or of Kulak Meklach Hashiv, which is Tzimtzum Shalei Kepshutei, Memelo automatically Tispashet Midas Ava Shebenefesh Milavusha, there will be a revelation of the measure of Ava, which isn't the Nefesh Milavusha, from being involved in other stuff. The Hainu, this means You should, nothing else should be worthy for you to love in matters of pleasure, neither gashmias or ruchnias, to be able to like them. You cannot desire any other thing in the Eibishter's world. Only the Eibishter, who is Mekein Hachayim Shel Kol HaTanugim, the source of life for all the things that give pleasure, because Shekulam B'Teilim B'Metzias, they're all nullified in their form. Uklam Mamish, their Mamish, nothing come in front of the Eibishter. Chashivi is their value. Ve'ein Arech Ve'dimyin, there is no measure and relativism, klal whatsoever, beineihem chas v'sholem, between the Eibishter and those other things. K'mei she'ein arich, just like there is no comparison, la'ayim ve'efes hamuchlat, to absolute nothingness, l'gabe chayim nitzchim, to something which lives forever. Everybody knows that nothingness cannot be compared to chayim nitzchim. Similarly, physical pleasures cannot be compared to spiritual pleasures. What he's saying is simply this, that as we develop avas Hashem, we must forfeit Ava for Dvarim and Ilm Hazeh, because they're incompatible. There's a Musa Seif, you know the name of the Machabed, from the Orches Tzadikim writes, just like fire and water cannot cohabit, Avas Hashem and Ava V'Gashmias cannot cohabit. So as we love the Eibishter, we have to forfeit love for other things. Now, if we love Hashem and love Mamalik Kolam, and there's still room for us. If we love Hashem, love Seif Kolam, and there's less room for us. If we love Hashem and love Kul K'mek Lachshiv, there's no room for any other Ava. That's the idea. As the pasuk says, that when we reach a madrega of kuluk make lachshiv, so automatically mili b'shamayim, nothing in the heavens has any value. V'imcha, besides for the Eibishter, loicha fatzti ba'aretz, I have no desires on earth. V'imcha, besides for you, loicha fatzti, I have no desires ba'aretz in the land. Kala, it's destroying, it's breaking. She'eri means my guf, ulavavi means my neshama, because tzur levav v'geim Hashem is the rock of my heart. There's another pasuk. Over there it says kol nafshi, that the neshama has a kalais. This pasuk is a stronger pasuk because it says kol she'eri alavavi. The kiloin is not only the neshama, the kiloin is also in the guf. And when you hold him on the madreg of kulak make lachshiv, this is the degree of bittul that kol she'eri alavavi. Now I want to tell you something. I am insisting to tell you that the Rebbe is saying he has three hizbonos. Mamalak alam and seva kol kulak make lachshiv. I feel the only one he really explains is Kol K'mek Lachashiv. Because this argument, that the more you love Hashem, the less you love Gashmias, and that eventually you can't love Gashmias at all, is only on the Madreg of Kol K'mek Lachashiv. On the lower Madregas, it's bonus of Mamali, which brings a lower Ava. It's bonus of Say, which brings a higher Ava, but it's not Kol K'mek Lachashiv. There's still more space in Mizakht for you. Why am I insisting that this is the Pshat? Because of what's going to be written at the beginning of Mem Dalet. He's going to say that there's Madregas, B'chinas of Madregas Rabbis. So whether I'm right or I'm wrong to insist that this is the pshat here, it's the pshat later. There's many madregas in Ava, and the many madregas Nav have to do with many madregas in Hizbonenus. A lower Hizbonenus brings a lower Ava, but it's more realistic for people to feel. A higher Hizbonenus brings a higher Ava, but it's less realistic for people to feel. Some of these Avas are man-made. The higher madregas of these Ava are already closer to the inyan of Ben, what he called over here Ava B'Tanugim. It comes from the Neshama. But it's not true of all Ahavas. This is the difference in Ava and Yira. In Yira we say every Yira has a Vedas of it. In Ava we don't say it. What we say about all Ahavas is that they all come from Hizbonenus. And he continues and he says, V'gam mi she'ein midas av b'nafshi melubeshes klal b'shum tane gashmi eruch. Let's say a person, a cold person, who doesn't develop any love for anything. He has no pleasure, no desire, not in gashmi, nothing. Still, Yochal Halev Nafshe, this person who is cold to the whole world, can provoke, can inflame his heart. Kirish Be'esh, like fiery coals. Vishalheves Azan, a strong flame. V'lam, a flame, Ha'oila Shamayim, which is going heavenward. Aidei Hizbonenus Hanal, through the Hizbonenus which we were describing. Ukmashikosav Lakaman, as we're going to see later. By the way, when it said before Ukmashikosav Lakaman about Nichlam Kol Nafshe, I think it means Peirik Nun. Ukmashikosav Lakaman, as we're going to explain later on, that any Yid can be by himself, Ahava. Okay, so what's the point of today's shiur is that there is a Madreg of Ava Tanugim that's a very high level. But then there's regular Ahavas on a Seder through Hizbonenus. The higher the Ahava, the more you have to give up alternate Ahavas. The highest Ahava, you have to give up any other Ahavas completely.